Drive Away Dolls is based on an early 2000s screenplay that Ethan Coen wrote with Tricia Cooke, who, in addition to being his wife and frequent collaborator, is a filmmaker herself. The film's set in 1999, primarily because it's drawn from the experiences Cooke, who's queer, had in lesbian bars around that time. Margaret Qualley, leaning into a southern accent and seriously channeling her mother, plays Jamie, a voluble freewheeler with a history of romantic troubles and an extremely loose relationship with sexual fidelity. Geraldine Viswanathan is her uptight bestie Marion, who works an office job, reads Henry James, and hasn't been with anyone since the end of her last relationship, which was years ago, when Jamie's caught girlfriend Suki, a very funny Beanie Feldstein, who low-key steals the show, finds out about her latest extracurricular activities and kicks her to the curb. She decides to get out of town for a while. Conveniently, Marion has separately decided to do the same by driving to see her aunt in Tallahassee. Jamie co-opts the trip and suggests they save some money by taking a drive-away deal, promising to deliver their rental car to an agreed-upon destination in exchange for a free ride. A misunderstanding at the rental place lands them in a car that was supposed to be picked up by a group of gangsters: Coleman Domingo, Joey Slotnick, and C.J. Wilson, who are planning on using items hidden in the trunk for blackmail, though the women initially have no idea. Drive Away Dolls is, at times, reminiscent of Raising Arizona in its madcap spirit and in the ineptitude of its criminals, and at other times brings to mind The Big Lebowski, especially in the psychedelic interludes that eventually feature Miley Cyrus in a cameo role. It's not nearly as good as either, though it's just fizzy enough to sustain itself for a jaunt down the eastern seaboard or, barring that, an 84-minute runtime. Still, one senses this is a mundane story that's trying to be something stranger and more buoyant. The film's off-kilter sensibility keeps threatening to fade away. Like it's stuck at the tail end of a high. There's a make-out party involving a college soccer team, a stop by a rural honky-tonk, and an appearance by Matt Damon as a conservative congressman whose terror of being exposed for hypocrisy feels downright nostalgic in our current no-consequences era. But the heart of the film, as much as it has won, is the halting slide of Jamie and Marion from pals to lovers. Qualley and Viswanathan are both wildly likable actors who have no sexual chemistry to speak of together, though in this case that feels appropriate. After all, Jamie likes to have sex and isn't inclined to monogamy, and it's implied Marion has been harboring feelings for her buddy and comes across as a one-woman kind of gal. Drive Away Dolls seems to want to be romantic, but instead manages a slightly too believable portrayal of two friends who enter into a doomed relationship because of timing, convenience, and desperation. You feel for Jamie and Marion and where they end up, but you don't feel too much. Drive Away Dolls is just not that kind of movie.